Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well and staying safe today. For this video we'll be going through an unboxing of the 1-400 Evangelion production Model 8 Gamma. Now I believe there is a Kai somewhere in the name, but yes, it's a version of Unit 8, or Model 8. I get very confused between models and units. And this particular kit is out of the rebuild of Evangelion movie line, more specifically the last one. And this kit is from Kotobukiya, and I believe it was 2021 when it came out. I didn't do the dutiful and double checked before I started the video, so a little bit of a whoops on my side. So continuing on with the Evangelion theme of unboxings, the Gunpla stuff that I've recently done was unexpected. I wasn't actually anticipating those kits to arrive when they did, so it has pushed out some of my plans by a few days. But the original plan to do some Ava kits and then flip between another mecha series and backwards and forwards is still on the cards, just to keep things a little bit different. So here we have the box of Unit 8 Gamma. So for the most part, Unit 8 is still Unit 8, and technically so are its arms, but the arms have been somewhat augmented given the damage they would have sustained at the end of the third movie, if I remember correctly. But yes, I think they've done Unit 8 quite well for this particular kit version. And obviously, it will be interesting to see this compared to the real grade from Bandai. So that is the front of the box, sporting Unit 8 and its very huge weapon. Bottom of the box is just a rehash of the front box image and a huge amount of text, which I suspect if there's a Kai, it's in there somewhere. Top of the box is basically the same. Side of the box, or at least one of the sides, so there's a sample photo of the unpainted kit, so that is pretty much what you will get straight out of the box with no further work, which isn't too bad. I suspect the weapon could do with some extra color apps. As for the Ava itself, probably not much in the way of color apps, maybe just some detailing. So that's one side, and in terms of the other side, so we have a front view and rear view of Unit 8, and then we have some action poses of Unit 8 as well as holding its very large weapon. It will have a bit of a gimmick with the arms, I believe. And in terms of weapons, there'll actually be two included weapons for this kit. So that's naturally not too bad whatsoever. Very cool, very solid. And being a Kotobukiya kit, probably have like 20 bags of runners, and the runners will range from 20 pieces down to 1. So in terms of what is inside the box, now that orientation is not much of an issue. 1 bag, 2 bag, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, oh gosh, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14th bag, in this case being the PVC cable. So 14 bags of runners, which now that I've done the unboxing of the Unit 1 with the Spear of Cassius is pretty much what you would expect. There'll be a lot of small runners in there, but there'll still be a few big ones, like this M runner and a few others that will be big as well, which is cool. So I will start the fun process of opening up all these bags, getting all the runners organized, and we can have a better look at everything that is included. Okay, everything out of all the bags. I'm magic glad I don't record the opening of bags. That did feel like it took a while. Here we have the front of the instructions for the 1:400 Evangelion production Model-08γ. Back of the manual. The Kotobukiya have a bit of a minimalist approach to the front and rear of the instructions. I'll get rid of that because that's trivial. So the usual how to build, going through the runners, and there are a lot. The manual doesn't make it look like there's a lot, but physical perception is there is a lot. In terms of the build, go through the torso, which the torso feels simplified compared to previous iterations. Could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. Jury is out. So going through the torso and the waist, so pretty much the main body. The shoulder pylons and the arms. And in fact you do one arm and then do the other. Then going through the legs. The legs look pretty standard though, from what I recall of some of the previous builds. So left and right legs, the head, and then putting everything together. Some of the movement in the upper thigh area, and then putting the weapon together. Putting the other weapon together and how it can grip, in theory. And then there will be a attachment point for one of them as well. And I suspect this is probably saying sold separately. There will be a bit of a gimmick for the entry plug, and it will have two different positions on the back to attach to a action base. And then the color guide. I will admit, Kotobukiya do very well, at least at presenting the color guide. I never follow it, but the more you know. That was the manual for Unit 8. In terms of the runners for Unit 8, and there's a good amount. Starting with a runner, small A runner, in pink. So there'll be bits and bobs to be expected. We have a full B runner, also in pink. Most of that will be for the legs. I suspect a lot of this is for the arms and main chest area. Probably back of the waist, I'd imagine. That's the B runner. We have two C runners in a bit of a, I think it's probably an olive green, and that'll be for the weapon. Interesting how some of these weapon parts have already made it into some of the early runners. And this is the C runner after all. So we have two of those. We have a D runner in black. And I can see already why there's going to be some color corrections already. Just looking at some of these shoulder pylons. That's all the one flat color, I'm afraid. Unexpected. But can be worked around. So that's the D runner. Yeah, let's see if I can do the rest without making a mess. E runner in white. One F runner in a bit of an orangey brown. So a lot of these parts will be for the external areas, well, the external armor components and reinforcement for the arms. One G runner in black. We have two H runners, carbon copies, both in black. So most likely arms and leg components, probably more so for your joints. We have a small I runner in... I cannot readily identify what type of color you are. I'll have to look you up. I think this is the first time in a while where I've not been able to readily identify a color. We actually have two J runners, although they are carbon copies. One is in a bit of a mustard color, and the other is in a grey, but they are carbon copy. So those are the two J's. We have a very small K runner with probably some orangey type colors. I suspect these are the tops of the arm, or at least top of the outer arm. We have a small L runner in a lighter grey, or a bit of a stone grey. And we still have plenty more runners to go. Oh, actually, we do still have more runners, but it's actually not as bad as I thought. We have a M runner, which is in grey, which will have predominantly parts for weapons. Interesting to see how some of these work. I actually thought it was just attached to a random cable, which we will get to, so I could still be right there. Or they could be for the other weapon. We'll see. So that's the M runner. We have the N runner in red. A O runner in white for the soul entry plug, which is pretty much a staple of most Kotobukiya Evangelion kits. We have a P runner in, I think it's a type of brown, or an orangey brown. And lastly, we have a Q runner, which I believe is in black. So those were the actual main runners. Some of the other supplementary things, we do have a polycap runner in black, which is also pretty stock standard for a Kotobukiya kit. We also have the various hand manipulators on some very weird designed hand runner, but they are in their respective pairs. They're kind of plasticky, they're kind of rubbery, so they do feel very solid, so I'm wondering if it's just a update in the material just to actually try and make them a bit more sturdier to be able to hold weapons. So time will tell how these hands go. So we have that quote-unquote hand runner. We do have the one PVC wire. And lastly, Kotobukiya being Kotobukiya, we do have some pre-painted parts siloed into a plastic bag. Now I'll keep these in the bag up until I do the snippy, in which case they will be allocated to a box with the other head components. But I will say the pre-painting is quite nice. So that's an example of the detailing on that particular part. And if I can show it for that part without getting too much of a reflection. So the pre-painting is quite nice. So we have those three parts, which I do believe are all for the head. So that brings us to an end of the unboxing of the production bottle Unit 8 Gamma. Now, I did forget to mention it at the beginning of the video, but I did pick this up from Hobby Link Japan, so I will include a product link to the 08 Gamma and maybe some other Ava kits as well from the Kotobukiya line. I'll see what's available, otherwise it just might be easier to just reference individual kits, but we'll see how things go. I do know between this and the Unit 1 they're definitely listed, and I think Unit 13 might be listed. I think it's in back order, no big surprise, but I think it is listed. I'll have a look. Between me recording it, this actually getting published, there actually is a few days gap, surprisingly enough, so we'll see how it goes. But main point, there will be at least one product link in the description. Thank you very much for watching this video. Feel free to leave a like, a comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the content. All of this does help support the channel, and I do greatly appreciate it. Extra content can also be found on my Instagram account. Stay safe and take care, and I will catch you all in the next video. See ya.